Friends fans have been rewatching the beloved series for longer than it was even on air at this point. So the constant rewatching has led to some spotting tiny errors and plot holes that surfaced throughout the show's 10-year run. Now, some fans are arguing over whether or not one particular moment on the show actually was a plot hole or not. In a post on Reddit, user technical_floor129 shared that they had just noticed a new error because they were a nerd who pays too much attention to TV shows. In S5E7, when Rachel, Jennifer Aniston, is flirting with a new neighbor, he invites her to his moving-in party but she plays hard to get and says she thinks she is going to be busy, the post reads. She says she is going to a regatta gala. He asks her if she sails and she said no. Then just 2 seasons later, S7E3, she teaches Joey how to sail because she had lessons when she was a teenager, the post continued. Jennifer Aniston says cast should have thought through offensive Friends jokes. Others quickly took to the comments to discuss the find, with many saying they didn't consider that to be that much of a plot error, pointing out there were many others during the show's tenure on NBC. First off, if anything it's a continuity error, not a plot error. Secondly, it is obvious that she is lying to the new guy, so it's not surprising that the sailing answer was also untrue, one person said. Friends is riddled with inconsistencies, it's not even worth tracking, another wrote. Depending on the season and the need for the joke, Chandler, Matthew Perry, either is or is not a sports fan. How well Chandler and Ross knew each other in college shifts radically, etc. It's a sitcom, the joke just has to be the joke, they added. Others pointed out other instances where the show also had similar inconsistencies, noting that none of those were ever resolved either. There are a few errors in Friends but I don't really consider this one of them, another person commented. I don't remember the episodes but Monica, Courtney Cox, introduced Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow, to the sous chef and she didn't know what that meant yet she teaches Joey, Matt LeBlanc, French in a later episode. In another episode with a flashback Chandler tries to hit on Rachel when she is engaged and comments that she wants to have sex with the next guy that talks to her, they added. It is painted that they have no idea who the other person is. Then in other flashback episodes back when they were in high school there were multiple times they were together and Rachel had a crush on Chandler. Another also chimed in to point out another big issue with the flashback episode mentioned. The bigger problem from the flashback episode is that it takes place exactly 1 year before the pilot and Ross, David Schwimmer, realizes at that point that Carol, Jane Sibbett, is a lesbian and his marriage is over. If it was over then, how was Ben, Cole Sprouse, born 15 months later? The fan questioned. Of course, fans have noticed errors for years, but that isn't the only issue that was called into question about the show since it went off the air in 2004. It has also been called out for its lack of diversity, as the main cast was all white and straight men and women. In a 2020 interview with The Guardian, David Schwimmer pointed out that he actually pushed to incorporate more diverse characters. I was well aware of the lack of diversity and I campaigned for years to have Ross date women of color, he said at the time. One of my first girlfriends I had on the show was an Asian American woman, and later I dated African American women. That was a very conscious push on my part. He also admitted though that the series was a product of its time, making some of the reaction to its lack of diversity today less credible because of the context. A lot of the problem today in so many areas is that so little is taken in context. You have to look at it from the point of view of what the show was trying to do at the time, he said. Lisa Kudrow also addressed it in a 2022 interview with the Daily Beast, stating that while she appreciated critiques, she didn't think the show's creators had any business writing about the experiences of minorities at the time because they themselves weren't minorities. "Well, I feel like it was a show created by two people who went to Brandeis and wrote about their lives after college. And for shows especially, when it's going to be a comedy that's character-driven, you write what you know," she said. "They have no business writing stories about the experiences of being a person of color."
To